Okay friends, it's time to get started on replacing our fuel filter. Whenever I do something with fuel, I always like to make sure that I discharge the fuel system from any pressure. So I'm just going to go ahead and open up this box right here. We'll set the cover aside, and now we're going to come right across to this 30 amp fuse right here. Go ahead and pull that right out of there. And now we're going to hop inside the vehicle and attempt to start it. We're going to notice that it cranks, but it should not start, and if it does, it's going to stall right out. Now let's just go ahead and get underneath the vehicle. We can find our right front control arm. Let's go ahead and follow it. Now we can find our right side catalytic converter, and then you're also going to find a shield right here. For this, there's going to be three 13mm headed bolts, one here, one above it, and then one over on the other side of the pipe right here. Let's remove all three so we can get this shield out of the way. Inspect your shield, set it aside. With that shield out of the way, now we can have a peek at these last two nuts right here. Let's go ahead and remove those two 10mm headed nuts, remove this shield, and then we'll have access to our fuel filter. Now let's remove the shield. Inspect it, set it aside. Now that we have the shield out of the way, we have a nice clear view of our fuel filter right up in this area here. Let's just take a quick look at it. You want to pay attention to the direction it's facing in, so when you go ahead and install the brand new one, it's going to be facing in the same exact direction. With that said, we can continue on by starting to remove our fuel lines from this. Keep in mind that there could still potentially be fuel in the system. Make sure you're wearing hand and eye protection at all times. With all that said, let's go ahead and grab onto these two white tabs right here. I'm going to try to squeeze these together and then try to press it up, essentially unlocking this fuel line. Now that I have it semi-popped up, I'm just going to go ahead and get underneath the other area with my flathead screwdriver and just gently pry that up a little bit further. Once you feel as though you have it unlocked, go ahead and carefully start removing it from the fuel filter. And now we're going to let this drain into our collection bucket. Now I'm just going to set that fuel line aside, and I can move along to removing the other one. For this one, I'm just going to go ahead and give it a little tug so I can try to access it, and we're going to essentially just try to pop out that other clip pretty much the same way. Now we can start doing the other one. For this one, we're going to have two tools, a small flathead screwdriver, and I also like to use a pick. Now essentially what we need to do to unlock this one is just try to get in between the two areas of the red plastic. Once I have that in between, I'm just going to gently twist this, and that's going to separate the lock for me. So now that you have it unlocked, the next thing that you're going to want to do is try to press along this outer portion of this, press it inward, and then we're also going to try to press it up, essentially to unlock this side, and then we need to go ahead and do the same on the other one. There we are. I got a little click from that one. I'm going to carefully try pressing it up a little bit. Now I'll do the same to this one, and we can press this entire thing up. It doesn't fully come out of the line, so don't go ahead and do that. With it completely unlocked, at this point I'm going to go ahead and try to grab onto that line to hold it still. I'll grab onto the fuel filter with my other hand. I'm going to twist it and try to remove it. There it is, friends. Make sure you dump this out into your collection receptacle. All right, friends, now it's time to install our brand new fuel filter. Make sure you put it in the same direction as you remove the original. I'm going to try to get this in position here, line it up with that fuel line. We can press it in. And then what you want to do is just go ahead and grab onto that tab from up top, and we're going to press it right down and through, and that's going to lock it in. Now we want to lock in the red tab as well by pressing this up and listening for a click as well. Now let's reconnect the other side of the line. We're just going to go ahead and press this right in, and then lock it down by pressing the white tab down as well. Give each side a nice tug to make sure they're completely secured. You do not want this falling apart while you're driving down the road. Now we can get our plastic shield on here. This is going to keep it protected and secure. Let's go ahead and slide it in position. We want this to go up and over that fuel filter. Now we're going to line up our holes with the corresponding studs. Start on both of our mounting nuts and snug them up. Now let's put on our heat shield as well. Go ahead and get this in position. We're going to start in all 3 of our mounting bolts. Once they're all started, we can bottom them out, snug them up. Make sure it's nice and secure. Now, of course, you're going to want to make sure you pick up any of the fuel mess that you left down here. A little bit of water should take care of that for you. After that, let's get back up inside the engine compartment. Let's go ahead and put in our fuse. That's going to go in this 4th hole, directly after the 3 that are there. Press it down. Make sure it's down all the way. Super important. After that, let's go ahead and make sure it's protected by our cover. And now we can go ahead and start up the vehicle. All right, something to mention before we go ahead and start this is it might take a little bit longer to start up the vehicle. A little bit of a long crank is pretty typical because we have to get fuel from the fuel pump all the way back up to the engine. All right, perfect. Double check for leaks. Okay, friends, we got our fuel filter in there. We started up the truck, it started up fine. That's great. The next thing that you want to do is make sure that you climb underneath the passenger side one more time and just ensure that you don't have any fuel leaks. After that, I always recommend taking it for a road test. Thanks for watching.